Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Sunless Skies. My plan was to swing through Carillon, see if it was going to be easy to get rid of our soul flaws, and then catch any interesting things that happened there on camera. But almost the very moment we came out of the transit relay in the Reach, this happened. The shades you recruited in the Blue Kingdom have gathered at the windows. As the light of strange stars falls on them, they begin to turn inexorably to salt. Their skin desiccates, becoming glittering and rough. Joints stiffen. Extremities, then whole limbs, fall to the ground and break into chunks. Some of the shades continue to stare, rapt through the windows. Others look to you, their eyes quizzical in their masks. Some hurry to dark corners of your locomotive. But it does not help. Soon there is nothing left of them but mounds of salt and cracked porcelain masks. Well... We could, I suppose, have the cook sweep up the salt. How about we don't eat them? How about we don't eat these people? I guess let's conduct a hasty funeral. You know, the dead were kind enough to give one to me, so I suppose I can give one back. The ceremony is curt and hesitant. What can you say about the silent shades that served under you? You knew nothing of their lives or their deaths. Your eulogy is hollow. Did they know this would happen? Did they want it? Have they returned to the Blue Kingdom? Was a glimpse of other stars all they longed for? I will say, I'm very unclear on what exactly the nature of the Blue Kingdom as the kingdom of the dead actually means. Because, we've encountered necropolis trains, right, that were intended to take the dead to the Blue Kingdom, and those dead certainly weren't turning to salt, right? The one we encountered all the way at the west edge of Albion, the dead in that train were up and moving around, and they seemed to be fine. When you die, does a shade that represents the part of you that is not your physical body just appear in the Blue Kingdom? Or is it once your body is delivered there, then it gets up and... I still have a lot of questions, and this has only worsened that. And we're back, and at some point, as I approached Lustrum here, the loudest dog in the universe began to bark constantly outside. I don't know if it's coming through on the microphone, because it's behind the microphone. It's in sort of the blind spot of the cardioid recording pattern, but if it is coming through, I apologize. It's a very annoying dog, on account of being the loudest dog in the universe. Anyway, here in Lustrum, we have a little bit of business. We have a story to finish. We were told that upon reading the story we would know what to do. Let's hope that turns out to be true. Instigate conflict, answer questions, tie loose threads. The Unflower can guide you. You read the petals of the Unflower. It becomes apparent what you must do to bring the story to an end. You kick open the door, a spade held aloft, and shove it in the hands of a confused woman sitting down to dinner with her family. I like that we didn't attempt to knock or anything. It's just hurl yourself through the door with this big shovel. Dig, you roar! Dig, damn you! Your father buried the key in the garden to keep it from falling into the hands of your uncles. It's not too late to unlock the attic and confront the thing that wears his face. You leave her sitting, open-mouthed, spade in one hand and a spoonful of soup in the other. Should we help her with the thing, with the confronting of the... You know what? No, not my story. We did the thing that I was paid to do. Did we get paid? Maybe we'll get paid when we go back. Let's go back. And Loud Dog banished, here we are again at the Court of the Apes. Nothing interesting happened at Carillon at all. We could have interacted with people and undergone trials and earned our penance, but the fact is we had about 1 billion souls in the bank, so I just went and drove a truckload of those over to Carillon and said, "Fix me," in a loud commanding voice, and they did. It turns out, if you're rich, it's extremely easy to repair the flaws in your soul. You know, that's the power of fiction, I guess, if only the real world were anything like that. So, we are here with a soul that is no longer clear. Let's go ahead and renegotiate the embassy's lease. This is not directly on our path. I have an idea of where to go, thanks to another helpful comment on the previous episode by Isolan, but I figured we're already on this trail. We may as well push this forward, right? Take a number, wait on a cushion until the number is called. Easy enough. At last, Ape 2047 may approach the window. We know that. Okay. The attendant holds the lease close to the eye holes of its mask. Finally, its voice jar speaks. Clarifications on existing contracts go to the Court of Mules. You'll need a Testament of the Feather to be heard there. It hands the lease back and summons Ape 2048. Testament of the Feather. We're good at acquiring Testaments of the Feather. Let's go for this. We are, I suppose, running a little bit low on cryptic benefactors who are willing to do us favors. Okay, Court of the Mules. Court of the Mules. Court of Mules. I would like to contest this interpretation of the embassy lease. To be seen in the Court of Mules, one must either belong to the court by nature, or be sent by another functionary. As we certainly have been. You must surrender your Testament of the Feather in order to be given a place in line. Then you must wash your body with a sponge dipped in vinegar water. Has it occurred to anyone else that we've been asked to ceremonially wash our body in, like, a lot of different ways? Why does everyone want me to wash all the time? What are they trying to tell me? After this, the masked attendant kneels beside you on a square of bleached linen. She takes careful and copious notes. She does say, with a sigh, that you can never tell with contracts drawn up by devils. Finally, she asks, should the Ambassador of Albion hold the toll tower, though it belonged to the devils for millennia? Though she has already stretched her time with imported hours? Though she has no respect for bounds? We could say, yes, she has made great progress. This choice will commit you to act against the devils and for the Ambassador. Or, when it's put that way, no, Albion has no rightful claim. This choice will commit you to act against the Ambassador. I think it was originally the case, at the beginning of Sister Patel's time with us, that she had no love for the royals of London, and, you know, she's pretty firmly on the other side of that conflict. And I think, if anything, the things we've seen since we started journeying out here have reinforced that, especially all this business with the unclear bomb and the lies told about the vanquishing of the sun. So, when it's put that way, no, Albion has no rightful claim here. Then we are pursuing an eviction, says the attendant. The Court of Oaks controls precedent around unreasonable delays and matters of endurance. Ask them to rule. Okay, sure, I'll just run this over there, why not? Not like I'm busy, not like I have lots of other things to do. I suppose my plan is to end up with infinite time, so... A rental dispute. You'll need a tremendous persistence and a suitable bribe. Well, crap. I did not bring a suitable bribe. I'm not invisible. I have the lease contract. So we can spend we can spend hours to get a hearing sooner. I suppose that's true. Okay. Well, let's just go get 3 barrels of hours and come back. I mean, we're not far from Skybarnet, and 3 barrels of hours is probably not a very large percentage of our overall supply. Although I will say, I feel like... Oh, combat. Let's just contribute. Sort of indiscriminately. I'll just contribute in whatever way I can. Boy, he lost interest in the Spirifer immediately. Was this a good idea? Did I want to blow him in this direction? Ah, damn it. I did the thing again where I fire instead of detonating a projectile. Spirifers are dangerous. And I'm pretty sure we don't have any gratitude right now. Okay, that's fine. We'll just have to be careful a little bit. Seriously, he's not dead yet. That's wild. Let's... I don't know, extract its meat, I guess? I don't really know. I don't know that any of the rewards for killing one of those things are any good at all. No. Will not be struck. Okay, let's see if we can maybe salvage a little bit of hull from this thing. The Nameless Spirit must be paid. What? Oh, our litigator, right. The Nameless Spirit leaves the jar containing its voice on your dinner table. The spirit itself sits on the other side of the room, trying to look uninvolved. My next month's pay is due, remarks the jar conversationally. 100 sovereigns or a vision of the heavens. Yeah, I'll give you 100 sovereigns, no big deal. Just stuff the jar with sovereigns. This'll keep it quiet. The Nameless Spirit seems to take this in good part. The jar laughs, a golden, clinking laugh, and the spirit comes to fetch it again, before you confuse it with the salt. Alright, another month. Another month of having a litigator on our side. I do not really want... Man. Yeah, let's loot the engine's plundered hall. Because if it has jumbles of souls, a selection of immaculate souls, well, what I was about to say is, we could just turn around and go right back to the court. Oh, I don't have enough stuff. I will lose a fuel. Okay, like I was saying, back to Sky Barnet for some souls. For some hours? Hours is what we need. Maybe I should get hours and a jumble of souls, just in case it turns out that one of these options ends up dead ending, because we've seen that happen once or twice, I think. We certainly have the hull space. Alright, do we have any... No, I didn't think so. Alright, well, we're just going to have to be careful. Can I take on crew? Nope. Recruited from New Winchester too recently. Alright, the bank. Let's put these away. I don't need these. We'll drop some of this stuff off and grab one of you and 3 of you. I don't know that I need to be carrying this many souls. Alright, so we definitely want to go up to the stone-faced court. Want to make sure that they're, we want to see if, in fact, there is an option to become yoked up at the Wellmouth. And then, we need that port report pretty badly so that we can come back down here and fix ourselves up so that we can attempt to make for the, Death's Door. Also, I noticed that this is just a platform, not an actual station, so I wonder if there's a station up here too. Because it is usually the case that platforms are near stations, right? I don't think we've ever seen a platform that was unconnected to a real station. Alright, let's try this again. Court of Oaks. See, my concern with this is that we don't have a bribe. I think we should have a bribe. 86%, we're pretty good at waiting. We'll just chill. Like I said, we're going to end up with infinite time if everything goes our way. The attendant asks about the ambassador, Albion, your opinion of devils, and your reasons for siding with them against your own kind. Hey, who says I'm not a devil myself? I'm certainly part devil. It might be fair to say that there's a little bit of devil in me. She inks your tongue and takes its imprint. She tests your spittle with drops that turn it a vigorous puce, to check for spite. Then she writes out her own notes in handwriting like the trace of a vine. She adduces 5 precedents which have bearing on this case. On the lease itself she places a symbol which means the tree that dies upright in the forest but does not fall until a snow comes. Huh. Then we gotta visit the Pansekritis for a final ruling. Man. Okay. That's bad, right? Because we're gonna need a Testament of the Feather, or 2 Testaments of the Feather. Now that you've been once, it is easier to claim a second visit. Okay, so we only need 1 now. Alright, well then, back to the Court of Apes. To roll the dice on this again, and fail. Oh, you still lose your benefactor. Awesome. Perhaps, suggests the court, you are meddling in things you ought to leave alone. Nuisance suits are not regarded kindly in the Blue Kingdom. Okay, let's try that again, and hope that we don't fail the roll a second time. Alright, we're gonna have to go get some more benefactors if we want to keep interacting with these people. Okay, let us go back out to here. Carry our forms to a second place. So, our litigator could argue for us to have the right to enter even if we weren't approved. I don't remember how we got approved. Well, whatever. Let's have our litigator earn her pay. Her pay? It's pay? I don't remember. Whatever. Doesn't matter. The Nameless Spirit presents your Testament of the Feather. Then it takes the jar containing its voice and connects this by rubber tube to the ear hole of the mask of the jackal who attends this door. The voice of the Nameless Spirit speaks through the tube to the jackal for several minutes together, and you don't hear a word of its argument. But when it is done, you are admitted, and hey, I got to keep my liver. Not that I need it, I'm just thinking, it's probably not a super pleasant experience to have it removed, or to have it put back, frankly. Alright, enforce the eviction of the Embassy of Albion. Am I going to regret this? I don't know, maybe, but screw them. Your skin burns, your hair prickles, you are frisked by a hurricane. There are no questions. You might have thought that there would be some final consultation, that you would have to defend your case to this final arbiter. But the Pansekritis has no interest in your words. It marks your paperwork with its own name, which is to say, with itself. Then it is finished noticing you. You are left holding something that looks like a lease document, but that weighs in your hand like a sword, which we are familiar with now. You must deliver it to the ambassador, and it will evict the embassy at once. You forgot to ask what would happen to you. Let's go get our port report first. What I'm thinking here is that right now, trading port reports for repairs is a process that is dependent on the presence of the embassy. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to have them evicted, and we'll see what comes of it. I'm going to avoid the sparkling brilliance, because I don't really like our last encounter with it. We are at 61 hull, so we took more than half of our hull in damage fighting that Spirifer. It makes me very, very leery of fighting another one. It's safe enough for us to travel up this way right now, because the red Logos is on our side. But when we are yoked, if indeed it is the case that we can become yoked up here, we'll probably want to go down through the middle, even though that holds its own dangers. And I don't want to open the vault because I don't want to risk spawning a Spirifer. I have no interest in fighting anybody at this moment. I'm definitely nervous out here. There's something about this place that is less scary. I've commented on that a couple of times. I said, I think, in the past, that it seems less dangerous than Eleutheria. I'm coming around on that one. We take a lot of damage when we fight things here. But it's still not as scary. Also, one has to wonder what happens if you die while in the Blue Kingdom. I'm not wondering so much that I'm going to try it, but it's definitely an interesting question, right? So we're going to run across a gold Logos up here, and it's going to be totally chill with us. Everything's going to be fine. And I guess we ought to finally make a decision about the psalmists, right? I didn't remember to do that. Oh, hey, I did want to say, it was off camera, but I accidentally used one of our missiles to slam a Pansekritis into a wall, and it did kill it. So the answer to the question that I asked last episode is yes, they do take a little bit of damage when they drift at low speeds into walls. It's probably like a very little bit of damage, but I did actually see it kill something. Okay, Erd. Hello, Erd. I need to enter the stone-faced court because I need to write a short description of it. What is this? A woman sits in a booth beside the gates. At least you think she's a woman. It's hard for me to get in here. Let's ask our litigator to intercede on our behalf. The Nameless Spirit leans forward and whispers something in the vague area where the administrator's ear should be. She nods and waves you through without a word. Your entry permission lasts 1 month only. Oh, that's what it is. It had not been a month. Last time we got here, it had not been a month since we bribed them. Okay, well, our litigator has extremely earned her 100 sovereigns, I'll say that. We follow the official in. We get ourselves reported. We may as well watch a trial, right? Is this going to actually be different? The spirit just wants to be declared dead, but its papers have been misfiled. No, this is familiar. I will argue its case. I will fail to argue its case. As you scan the tablets, you quickly realize that you have no idea what you are doing. Ink swims before your eyes. You put the paperwork aside and make an impassioned speech about compassion and mercy. It is eloquent, stirring, heart-wrenching, and completely irrelevant. You know, the tap dancing doesn't always work. It's quite clear that you have no relevant legal knowledge at all, says the judge. I maintain my previous verdict of ephemera, and since you have wasted so much of our time, I will be revoking your permission to remain in the stone-faced court. Well, that's inconvenient. Let us seek entry again. Can I have my spirit just get us in? Okay. I don't think we have anything else to do here. I figured I should just refresh our permission. As you walk through the thoroughfare... Oh, right. The spooky guy in the mask. Taller than the others. Let us look to the Nameless Spirit for guidance. Last time we encountered this, we were invisible and it wasn't an issue. Servitor of the Blue Kingdom, murmurs the Nameless Spirit, gently pushing you to your knees and handing you a stick of chalk. One of the Sapphire King's most trustworthy servants, only a step below the Logoi. There are many possible obeisances, but the simplest is to scrawl your name in the gutter and sweep it out as it walks past. Wow, that's a grim gesture. You do as instructed. The servitor doesn't so much as glance your way. In moments it turns the corner and is gone. All around you, spirits clamber to their feet and resume their business. I'm glad we took on this litigator. We're like learning all kinds of stuff too. Alright, sure, I'll buy some Bobzine. Can't hurt to replenish our stores. Alright, so let's swing past the Wellmouth here. I do not remember whether there was an option to become yoked here, but I have been advised that there might be. Oh no, the temperature has plummeted, and continues to fall by the hour. Pipes lock with ice. The crew wrap themselves in coats and blankets. You know how the waste waif is. Stoke the engines. Inconvenient, certainly not lethal. 7 fuel is an awful lot, considering the size of the Blue Kingdom. Alright, back to Wellmouth. They sort of kind of like me here. They absolutely tolerate me here. Let's ignore the psalmists for the moment. Go back to the Wellmouth. Watch the widows inter one of the failed dead, but that just raises my terror. I remember. Okay, what happened when we tried to seek out the Matronly Relict's approval? I can't remember. Ah, that's right. We had the option to request permission to linger, but I do not have the stuff. What about speaking to the widows? We have to linger. We have to actually bring a selection of Immaculate Souls here so that we can get permission to hang out. And I am not interacting with the psalmists until that is done. Well, I apologize, everybody. We're gonna see this same stretch of sky once again. But I keep forgetting to bring the bribes. Bribes are very important here. I'm a little concerned. I might turn off our light. I guess terror is not great either. We're gaining terror very rapidly. Okay, we'll turn the light on and we'll just be quick to turn it off if we sense danger. We could enjoy their hospitality. You know what? I don't want to do that one. The good news is there's an awful lot of luggage that has been abandoned, and it may contain hull. Does indeed. Did I just hear a flapping noise? Wow. Did you see the name of it? Like it flew off screen this way and hit the wall and bounced up, I think. Alright, I'll just take the precious stones, thank you. Thought I heard flapping, which I guess could be an eater of the dead. Or it could be my own mind going slowly mad. That seems like it's warning me about the presence of an eater. Let's just stick to the wall. Fortunately, I have a large enough hand that I can use WASD with most of my fingers and then have my thumb on the L button to hastily turn off the light. wouldn't say that I have, like, cartoonishly large hands, but they're big. It's usually a real pain in the ass, especially because, you know, I like to work in computers and stuff. It's not great to have big hands when working on mechanical things in enclosed spaces like a computer tower. Oh, that's a Spirifer. Oh, it's an almost dead Spirifer. Well, I'm going to take advantage. Okay, cool. It's an actually dead Spirifer. I wonder what happened to it. Well, let's hope that it killed whatever else was out here. We could loot the engine's plundered haul, or we could simply retrieve an otherworldly artifact. Yeah, let's do that. We could have gotten a selection of Immaculate Souls from doing that, but I still want to go back to Skybarnet because I want to repair our hull. So we would end up going back either way. And I didn't want to see what the consequences for failing that roll might have been. I'll tell you what this place has done. Has installed a remarkable cowardice. Instilled a remarkable cowardice in me, apparently. The trip through the middle is a little bit dangerous. And actually, you know what? We should probably pick up some gemstones, too. Should have all of the suitable bribes on hand. Okay, right, I gotta turn in my port report first. Okay. Embassy of Albion. Deliver port report. Go back to the toll tower, repair the locomotive. And then I'm gonna evict him now? I'm just very curious what's going to happen. We go in here, we pay in a visit to the ambassador. Cautiously mention her clear soul flaw. It might not be her favorite topic of conversation, but if you lead into it with some other gossip, perhaps. Well, I've died twice, the ambassador says with a dry smile. Once on my way out of the womb, and once when I was ill as a child. Both times the doctors said I was gone, but, as you perceive... She shrugs, but her eyes are proud. I can do what most people cannot, she says. I can live in the Blue Kingdom without terror. This distinction I put in the service of Albion. She has no idea that it's actually a detriment. Here's the thing. The ambassador reads the findings of each court. At the end, beneath the sigil of the Pansekritis, there is a place for her own signature, to acknowledge her eviction. She struggles, but her scarred left arm stretches out and her left hand signs the page. Then an avalanche of time sweeps away the Embassy of Albion. There is no ambassador, no secretary, no attaché. Your gut slackens with hunger. Your throat dries. The larvae of moths sprout in your clothing, eat and fly away. A blink later, you stand in the Court of Porphyry and Brass. Devils crowd you with gifts. Okay, we've been given a captivating treasure and a testament of roses and 3 selections of Immaculate Souls, and 5 the Porphyry Court's gratitudes. There is no more to do. You have evicted the Embassy of Albion. So, all that was once the Embassy of Albion has been stripped away, save the pink floral carpet. The false paneling is gone, revealing a vaulted open space suited to the House of Days. The ribs of the ceiling are porphyry, embellished with brass devil heads. Where the portrait of the Empress used to hang, there is now a lavish oil painting of Carillon, showing each soul being tormented in its own way, according to its need. Hey. The embassy was here, and it is now very much not. What's up? What's the story with that? The Deviless explains. In the Blue Kingdom, it takes a long time to receive a decision. But once a case has been judged, the execution is instant. In this case, it was proven that the embassy should have moved out years earlier, and so the sentence applied retroactively. I hope you aren't feeling ill, she adds solicitously. You should not have been harmed, but the execution of the command may have produced some side effects for those in the vicinity. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Alright, so we can exchange gratitude for stuff. We get a Crimson Promise. Am I allowed to repair? Okay, so I am still allowed to repair with a single point of Porphyry Quartz gratitude. And we now have quite a lot of gratitude to play with. Let's, I'm just curious. Okay, the devil does not have any new text for us post-eviction of London. Do we want to take on more crew? There's a chance some of them will be Shades of the Dead. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll just get all living people. Oh, looks like we did. There are enough living applicants to fill the positions you need. They clamor eagerly aboard. The Shades draw back. They seem disappointed. Okay. So, we now have stuff. Here, I think we can put these back. Let's take a couple of selections of Immaculate Souls and, like, a bunch of Naratine gemstones, because these seem to be very common currency. And then I'm going to take 2 more crates of supplies to fill up, because we can just refuel at the Stone-Faced Court, right? Right? Is that right? That is totally right. Okay. And if we do become yoked here at the Wellmouth, then we want to go around this way to the Shadow of the Sun, probably, because we can avoid that red Logos that's lurking over here. Alright, let's go. Let's do this. Well, you can't say we didn't have an effect here at the Toll Tower. I'm a little concerned about my terror. It does not seem to be entirely trivial to remove terror in this place. So I guess we're going to go up through the middle. We get ourselves in some serious trouble hull-wise. We can always just turn around. We have lots of gratitude with which to repair. But obviously not ideal. Hopefully we won't have to. Once again, driving with my thumb on L. I will say that driving with my thumb on L, Unsettled Dreams, great. All of the terror. Well, you know, it's not impossible that we could actually get a terror reduction here. Let's roll for it. Seek company. We're having some bad dreams. The sky of your dream is blazing gold. It is peppered, no crowded with suns. Suns piled on suns, like the groats in a miser's hoard. The light floods you. It shines through skin and blood and meat, picking out your branching veins and the slender pillars of your bones. Is there no more to you than this? I mean, no. I can see how it's unsettling to think about. Alright, well, we tried. Turns out everybody has bad dreams about suns sometimes. I still feel like we ought to be able to do something with that bomb. I guess it's not my bomb. It would be quite a heist to steal the unclear bomb from the Most Serene Mausoleum. We do have the rats on board and stuff. Like, we have veteran heisters. Just think about it, man. Think about if we had control of that thing. And then tell me what we should do, because I'm thinking about it and I can't figure out, like, what is the smart play once you have an unclear bomb that you don't exactly know the effects of or the workings of. I just know that the Clockwork Sun freaks me out, and it seems to be turning people to glass. And as terrifying as other suns may be, as grand and terrible as other suns may be, they don't do that, right? It is a weird thing. It might really bear some further investigation. I haven't really spent any time trying to, like, figure out what is up with the Clockwork Sun. We went and visited a half dozen times, but it is all very strange. Okay, we've come bearing gifts. Let's see if we can maybe get the matron to actually provide us with some services. Wouldn't that be lovely? Okay, good news! Request permission to linger at the Wellmouth. The relict pauses her weaving for a moment. A tithe of souls must first be paid, says the widow at her side. Yeah, alright, I got some souls for you. The relict grins, revealing why she has not spoken. The upper and lower rows of her butter-yellow teeth are fused together. She makes a soft clucking noise with her tongue, and her attendant widow hurries to fetch some parchment. The old woman hunches, pen in hand, armchair groaning. Her handwriting is spiky, scratchy, almost incoherent. Almost. She writes 3 simple words. You may stay. As she finishes, the jagged scrawl of ink lifts itself from the page, segments, and scatters for the shadows in a dozen scuttling black forms. Only the blank page remains. Words are very strange here. I should be very cautious with my port reports, I think. So, can the widows help change my status? Because that would be very helpful. One of the widows seems to fulfill the role of Wellmouth's archivist. We don't get along with archivists, traditionally. She huddles alone in a library at the edge of the village, surrounded by crammed shelves, her floor obscured by a layer of damp, mangled books. Sorry, not books that are damp and mangled, but books that are mangled by the damp. Damp mangled books. When you ask her about changing your status, she scrabbles through the tome heap and retrieves, with triumph, a moldy journal. She flips to the relevant page. Centuries past, we employed something called a spider sweeper, she says. It was a role assigned to a yoked spirit, back when Grandmother tolerated their presence. Perhaps ask her about it. Okay, I don't really want to be a spider sweeper. Alright. We do have some other things available to us now. The relict reclines vastly. She looks almost placid, except for the gleam of her eyes beneath their heavy lids. Her attendant widow kneels silently at her side. What exactly are the widows, and why have they isolated themselves so far from the stone-faced court? The widow looks shocked at your impertinence, but the relict reaches out with one massive hand and pinches her attendant's ear between finger and thumbnail. The widow squeals. "We are here to inter the failed dead," mutters the widow sulkily, rubbing her ear. "The court sends us those who have failed to satisfactorily die, and we lay them to rest, usually against their will. And when we have no guests poking their noses in our business, we perform other duties," the widow smirks, "ones that even the court don't know about." Huh. Hide and spy on the widow's secret ceremony. We're very likely to be able to pull that off. I am extremely curious. And if we get in trouble here, we can just re-bribe them, right? We brought a bunch of selections of souls. Your engine departs with orders to return tomorrow. The widows watch it leave, veiled faces upturned. In well-rehearsed unison, they make their way to the white well. You follow at a careful distance. They stand at the well's edge and raise their voices in chittering song. A seething shudder begins beneath your feet. In a hideous rush, darkness floods from the eyes and mouths of the broken statues around Wellmouth. It is spiders. Spiders! Scrabbling black vastness and arachnid ocean. They churn and blot the snow. They overcome you. They wrap you in a scurrying shroud. 8 million ancient eyes fix upon you. And me, without a locomotive to shoot them with. The rustling flood of spiders encircles the well and weaves immense gossamer displays at its rim. Whales, gardens, dragons, and castles, all manner of wonders rise and are devoured. The widows watch, hands clasped. You lie on your back, silk-pinned. You can do nothing but stare at the sky, and blink away the occasional inquisitive spider. As you stare up, you realize there is something wrong with the stars. Stars are writhing specks in the web that was the sky. "Welcome to my parlor," said the spider to the sky, a purring voice in your head. Your brain feels like it's being hammered on an anvil. Beaten, yes, but also reshaped. The memories most precious to you are shuffled like cards. Old wounds tease open. Darkest fears are dragged out writhing for inspection. Something is dancing inside your head, skittering excitedly from nook to crevice, But when you try to think what it might be, it scuttles into the shadows. You cease struggling and let it do its terrible work. When you wake, the spiders and gossamer and widows are gone. You are alone in the snow, surrounded by silent statues. But not quite alone. Something is wrapping your mind in silk. There's a spider in my brain. Not like a physical spider in my physical brain, I think, but like a mind spider in my mind, which is not a real thing in the same way that the spider is not a real thing, but definitely still wrapping my mind in silk. Oh dear. Something is crawling uninvited through your mind. Actions in the Wellmouth will increase terror. Get away from here. Howling winds erupt from the frozen abyss, rattling roofs and chasing snow over mist-shrouded streets. Most of the silhouettes in the snow are statues, cracked and mutilated by age. A few are not statues, but gaunt women in mourning veils, who skitter suddenly into motion as you come near, and fall into silent line behind you. Soon I will shuck this place like a skin. Okay, we have an important thing to do here, but we need to do it and leave. The rite of wedlock. Before descending, you must unburden yourself of secrets. Of course, the rite of wedlock, because widows. I would like to become your spider sweeper, and I'd like to do it quickly, and if possible, I would like to perform this job remotely. A duty so ancient, the court have forgotten to make it obsolete. Reinstating it will require a bribe. Well, I have a bribe. I have a testament of salt. Okay. Terror. Climbing. As rattled with spiders decreases, your terror increases. Great. The walls of the cottage twist and buckle as the vast black thing devours your gift. It chitters and clicks for more, lurching forward, its jaws snapping inches from your nose. Grandmother had forgotten this role even existed, says the widow. To confirm your appointment, you must perform the associated duties at least once. The spider sweeper's role is to descend into the White Well and dislodge the failed dead that cling to its walls. The dark mass clambers from its chair and rears on its hind legs, picking with surprising delicacy through the contents of a cupboard. Finally, it emerges with a broomstick in its jaws. Yo, I had brooms. I mean, okay, no, it's fine. Since yoked spirits are not permitted at the Wellmouth, you will lose the relic's permission to speak with her widows. That's fine. So we must go and fulfill our duties at least once. 86% chance of succeeding. No need for a hook in the ice. No need for a rope around your waist. Just descend into the well as quickly as you can. The White Well's edges are a plunging tangle of clumped sorrow spiders, thankfully frozen. Under your boots they crumble. With every step of your descent, shards of spider fall into the abyss. You come across one of the failed dead, limbs outstretched, fingertips wormed into ice cracks. He dabbled in immortality, and ended up here for his trouble. You swing toward him, broomstick jabbing and prodding, ignoring his yelps. He slips and falls into the abyss with a final screech. An undignified end for one who fought so hard not to end. For the rest of the day you dislodge more failed dead, in much the same fashion. One whispers a confession in your ear before he plunges. Another desperately summarizes her life, snatching for immortality, even now. Well, they have no idea how successful they might yet be. That said, obviously, we have some feelings about this, given that we may end up as one of these people, but I suppose if I was squeamish about hurling other seekers of immortality to their ignominious doom, I would not have been so successful at the tournament, right? We decided long ago that we were comfortable being the only ones. Well, I am now yoked. Let us immediately leave. I am yoked now, right? Hold on. We have an abstemious devil. That's true, we do have an abstemious devil. I forgot about that. Where would I find how yoked I am? What is my level of yokedness? Favor... this is not it. Maybe... Blue Kingdom. I have a litigator, I have a testament of roses. I mean, hold on. Maybe it's here. Status. Peculiarity. I am developing a taste for the bottle. I couldn't help myself. One time I got into a real situation with terror. Boy, this is not an easy thing to look through. No way to control F through your peculiarities. Here's what we'll do. We'll just go back in here. Ephemera are not welcome. Okay. I am, in fact, already yoked. Well then, let us be gone from this place, immediately. Okay, the yellow logoi, they shoot at ephemera, right? And the blue ones shoot at antideceased. The red ones are here and here. So we should be able to go this way safely. If we have the opportunity to ditch 50 terror in exchange for a nightmare, I think we're going to have to take it. There's no reason for us not to swing through the stone-faced court and grab a port report while we're here. Let's not stay long, Captain. Yeah, 100% of the way with you. Hey, look at that. You know, it's been a while since I've slammed into the side of a dock while attempting to dock, right? That's something to be proud of. Oh, I cannot, in fact, enter the court. The court is no place for you, dear, trills the unreasonably chirpy administrator. The yoked are not permitted, entry pass notwithstanding. Only the graven may take care of important... Yep, okay, well... Alright, we didn't actually need the port report. Wait. One thing real quick. Am I allowed to buy fuel here? We should still have access to the shop, right? Yes, okay, cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and fill up. Alright, now we go. Whew. Okay. Yellow Logoi is fighting a Spirifer, it sounds like. It is in my best interest not to get involved. Oh, it's fighting a Grave Robber. Which is sort of like a Spirifer. They're actually remarkably similar. I'm just gonna leave them to it. Sounds like they're both very busy. Can we get through here? We can. Oh, this isn't even actual ground. No interest in spawning more Spirifers. And also I don't have the room for any loot. But those things make terrible noises when they fight, huh? We may end up in a position here where we do have to fight the red Logos, and if we have to fight the red Logos, I'm not certain that the blue Logos won't chip in, but I think fighting two of them shouldn't be too much harder than just fighting one. Because they'll probably just like basically follow us in the same position, shoot at us. I guess if they stagger their shots so that one of them is always firing, that could make things a little bit awkward. Maybe this is unwise, but I'm just gonna take a quick peek up here. Place that we have not yet been. Now there is something up there. A report from your scout. It's found something. We do have to be a little bit careful about that red Logos that we know is down there. No. Well, we're not going to be able to run from it, and it has the same semi-homing projectiles we do, so we probably should just try to kill it. Spending a lot of time not facing me, which I really appreciate. I was so busy thinking about dodging that I forgot to detonate our projectile. That could have been a positive trade, and I instead just didn't do anything with it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I still took the hit. Unfortunately, I have no idea if we were close on that. I don't know how you would solve the problem of widescreen monitors and the fact that it's just like, it's really awkward, generally speaking, to fight with people who are above you, but pretty easy to fight with people who are to your left. Okay, another otherworldly artifact. I think we have to take this because we just don't have a lot of tools for managing our terror here, and I'm pretty sure that if you get to 100 terror, it's very, very bad. Probably it's also pretty bad if you get to 4 nightmares. If things get really grim, we can go back to Magdalen's, right? 3 purposeful blows with a lump hammer and the artifact lies in pieces. You sweep the remains away. The crew are pleased. Yours weren't the only dreams the artifact had insinuated itself into. Yeah, we have seen this before. A visitation, the staring light. For weeks you felt the pressure of hidden eyes, their gaze gnawing into your skin like burrowing ants. At first you suspected the junior navigator, who you caught glancing your way not once but twice, but she seemed baffled by your sharp rebuke. As you sit in your quarters, the cloying sense of scrutiny mounts. You stare helplessly from the window, and the stars stare endlessly back. Could it be the stars that are watching you? Yeah, it sure could be. You requisition a telescope from one of your crew. For a moment, you hesitate. Stars may well be watching. How will they react if you look back? Finally, you hunch and scan the sky until you find burning gold. You see a stare that impales, an abyss gaze, hollowing, your soul smeared across a microscope slide. Merciless, unphilosophical, eternal contemplation. When you step back from the telescope, trembling, you see that the sky now bristles with piercing eyes where the stars used to be. They're watching. They've always been watching. Great! Given my feelings about eyes acquired over the course of the series, I'm so happy. So happy that we had this opportunity. This is gonna be a little tricky to evade his eyes of a cannon. Okay, I managed to not take it too hard there. Honestly, that wasn't even too bad, considering the situation I got us caught in. I'm a lot better at actually hitting with this rocket than he is. Okay, that wasn't so bad. This is a dead end, though. Worth the detour? Absolutely not, no. Oh, thank God we can scrap his engine. Okay. Spirifer engines disguise themselves when entering the domain of the dead. They bedeck their hulls with clanking bells and tattered pennants and the detritus of scavenged burial customs. This rarely fools the Logoi, who scour the kingdom, and mostly serves to frustrate your crew as they search for intact plating. Okay, now remember that Logoi aggro from extremely far away. So as we approach the shadow of the sun here, I don't remember exactly where that red guy was, maybe over here? We might want to turn off our light, see if that does indeed reduce aggro range, because I don't really want to fight a Logos near another Logos, if we can avoid it. Oh good, 82 experience. How does it decide on that value? Why 82? Okay, there's the blue one. I think at this point I'm going to kill the light. I kind of want to go down near the wonder here, because first of all, we didn't really get a chance to look at it, and secondly, it will restore our state of mind a little bit. Oh, we can interact. The Horologion. The great dial Horologion is in motion. It is the clock of the Blue Kingdom, dictating the hours of the observances, rituals which govern the progress of the spirit toward death's door. Beneath its face, thousands of spirits labor to power its revolution. Above, greater spirits of aureate majesty preside over the regular observances. It is both a symbol and vital function of the bureaucracy of the dead. The observances are mandatory for spirits at Horologion. There is an observance for every status, and once begun, may not be escaped. Should we... Yeah, too curious not to. Your engine lands at the appointed place in the shadow of the Gnomon. You step from your engine onto the face of the great dial. Aureate ministers with crowns of molten gold turn to you as you disembark. An observance is about to begin. Every spirit has its place during the hours chimed by Horologion. You are about to be shown yours. Okay. At this hour, the ephemera are invited to a banquet. You are not permitted to participate, but you may watch. Shades lead you below the face of Horologion and into a cavern under the dial. A great table carved from the jaw of an eater of the dead stands at its center. Thousands of spirits in masks sit on long benches to either side. Shades bearing tapers carry platters of petrichor the color of sweet milk. The only sound in all of the chamber is the scraping of wooden spoon on bowl. Eventually, the spirits stand and, as one, file out. Petrichor remains on the table. Huh. So the jaw of an eater of the dead, I guess we had to remember that we see enemies at train scale all the time, and an eater of the dead, like the head of it, is probably about as long as our train, right? So I guess that would be quite a large table. Okay, I think we can see ourselves out here. Shafts of light flung from death's door illuminate the face of Horologion in a brief corona of dazzling gold. For a moment, your engine is washed in a terrible radiance. Then you are away, and the dial is behind you. The sun does not move, so the dial must. Yeah, I suppose. Alright, I'm going to send our man out here. See if there is indeed a station nearby. Oh, there totally is. Okay. He also found something all the way down there somehow. The Rattronaut returns. Your crew cheer! Knocking back a thimbleful of whiskey, it delivers its report. I love the idea that it's just, like, super popular with the crew. They all think it's some great adventurer. Okay. We're back. First of all, write a port report. Secondly, to the garden. Because I'm curious what the, I can't remember what her name is, but what she'll have to say. Tell her the conclusion you wrought. The Gardener Archivist, that's it. The Gardener Archivist listens with delight, hanging on to every word. I am so glad you've managed to finish one, she says when you are done, clapping her hands together. Ah, but there are so many more left to conclude. By way of reward, she hands you a bundle of yellowing maps. These maps show the secret pathways of starlight, she tells you in a hushed whisper. Okay, unlicensed chart, that's a useful thing. We have a lot of savage secrets at this point. Okay, I think we're good here for now. Should we... I mean, I kind of want to seek an audience with the Sun's daughter first. I don't, in case we have to leave in a real hurry, I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. She is the Arbiter of Endings, the daughter of the Sapphired King. The shadow of the sun was built for her, and around her. Outside the palace doors, the carefree attendant bows deeply. He is wearing a robe of red feathers and a pair of startling green boots. His voice echoes from a pot in his arms. I wonder if the boots are, if the greenness of them is what's startling, or if they're startling in some other way, but also they are green. The Arbiter of Fates has expressed an interest in meeting you also, says the carefree attendant. I trust I need not tell you the magnitude of that honor. But if you saw her in her current form, you would unravel. Follow me. He leads you to a structure at the edge of the ornamental lake. It's halfway between tree and lighthouse. It's a branching tower with a blazing globe nestled in its upper reaches. You are taken upstairs to a windowless room with off-putting implements hanging from the walls. That's a little worrying. Your eyes must be replaced by gemstones, says the attendant, measuring your face with calipers. That is the simplest part of the procedure. Temporarily, or... He lifts a small bell and rings it, carefully watching your response. Your thoughts must become song, or they will turn against you. You will have to replace your skin with the language of light, and your tongue with flame. All perishable flesh must remain here, for safekeeping. Okay, for safekeeping, because I'm going to get it back. Right? If my eyes are gemstones, and my thoughts are song, and my tongue is fire, and my skin is correspondence, in what way am I me? Huh, the Nameless Spirit has anticipated the stones and the skin. Making your tongue become fire is on you. So we could trade a moment of inspiration, or a moment of inspiration plus a cask of gemstones and some other stuff. Okay, so basically, the litigator is letting us cheat some of the cost here. Alright, let us allow the Nameless Spirit to assist us. The attendant lays you on the bare stone floor, at the center of a circle of engraved correspondence symbols. He takes from the wall a scalpel as long as a sword. So a sword, basically. This will hurt for a moment, he says. Then you will lose your comprehension of pain. Symbols flare like stars. The scalpel slides into you, just above the collarbone, and traces your outline with delicacy and precision. There is only a little blood. Your skin comes away in rinds, like shucked fruit. The blaze of correspondence devours you. The world falls away. I now have a form resilient to resplendence. Terrifying. I really do think, moments of inspiration, I think, are maybe the most important currency. They're not the rarest, but I think they have the highest rarity to commonality of use ratio. The palace is a vortex of blossoming, unblossoming kaleidoscope architecture. She, at the center, a nucleus of violent light, the daughter of a star. She is a pillar of blazing time and rushing song, a winged and skeletal sun, a seven-limbed, seven-headed colossus of sapphire and silk, whose words dance like fireflies on the burning wind. Welcome, she says, her voice a howl and an orchestra and a shivering crystalline song. I don't know how to do that. You're going to have to bear with me. We could plead for an indulgence, but obviously we're not great at that sort of thing. We could request from her a testament of the feather. Most officials can't give these away without careful consideration of the cost. She, of course, is the exception. In exchange, she desires only a story. Yeah, she wants something from us. That can wait a second. I want something too. As you tell your story, of which you had 86, you speak not in words, but in storms. Ink-black clouds coagulate above. A rain of words soaks you both in memories, leaving you shivering with nostalgia. When you reach the crescendo, lightning crawls across the horizon. The sun's daughter listens in silent rapture. When your story is over, the clouds boil to nothing, but pools of meaning linger. Sunshine burns them away. You have earned your dispensation, she states. Okay, cool, good for us. I mean, that's a pretty good rate of exchange right there. There is a reason I have agreed to meet with you, traveler, despite our disparity in stature, says the Arbiter. I have a request. I can perform miracles, traveler, says the sun's daughter, her eyes blossoming like flowers. She has eyes. There are only two things you can do that I cannot. The first is die. The second is exit the Blue Kingdom. Fortunately for you, I require the latter. The sky shatters. Her mouth sings something similar to laughter. I have decided to establish a Blue Kingdom embassy in the Reach. Our isolation must end. I have chosen you for this task. Oh. I could do that. Yeah, why would we not agree to anything she asked of us, even if we weren't going to do it, right? The embassy will not just facilitate relations, but also spread the Blue Kingdom's philosophy and influence. Yeah, fine by me. The sun's daughter accepts your agreement with the unhesitating ingratitude of someone very accustomed to the world reshaping itself in her favor. Man, I wish we still had the princess around. I think they would have gotten along great. You will not be alone in this task, she says. Waiting at the station, you will find my other chosen representative, a yoked spirit who, in life, was famous for his charisma and genius. He has received special dispensations that allow him to venture outside of the Blue Kingdom without being unmade. So they could just make that not happen if they want to. You can meet her chosen diplomat, the mesmeric orator, in Death's Doorstop. Okay, I think we should not plead for an indulgence because I think we will be unsuccessful. I guess, what do I think the odds are that there's a negative outcome to failing, though? Like, how bad would it be? A single word from the sun's daughter can cut through the Blue Kingdom's bureaucracy like a superheated knife. The Nameless Spirit indicates that it has come before the sun's daughter before, and its arguments can lend weight to your words. Okay, let's take a swing at it. You know what? The Nameless Spirit seems confident. Alright, no big surprise there. You try to speak, and your tongue lashes flame. Flames rise around you. Smoke billows until all you can see is a burning sigil rising above a blizzard of ash. This is it, the single word that the sun's daughter grants you in response, and for a moment it consumes the world. No. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Thanks a lot there, Spirit. Let's detach ourselves from the radiance of the Arbiter of Fates. You will need to discard your new form. It will certainly be painful. Yeah, I bet the first thing they put back is your ability to feel pain, right? The palace falls away. Your new shape twists, folds, retreats. The flaming symbols that have replaced your flesh extinguish one by one. The stones in your eye sockets shatter into teardrops and crumble down your cheeks. It is excruciating in a dozen different ways. The ache of a still-healing wound, the agony of scourged flesh, the pain of a bitter and dreaded departure. When it is finally over, you find yourself once more confined to the twitching, decaying flesh wreck that is your body. Hey, how did they know? You haven't outwardly changed, but every movement now feels lumpen and ponderous. The carefree attendant helps you to your feet with a smile. Boy, an experience like that would certainly change you forever. Okay, now that we've made ourselves personally known to the Arbiter of Endings, let's break into her vault. Why shouldn't we do such a thing? After wandering the gardens, you discover a stone door set into the side of a grassy barrow. It is guarded by a pair of shades. Immortality. What wouldn't be worth it? The shades wave you through. You are, after all, a yoked spirit, like them. The stone door grinds slowly open, revealing stairs down. The portrait of the unseen queen is tucked under your arm. They don't give it a second glance. It's as though she doesn't exist. Do you... I was about to ask a question that, profoundly does not matter. Never mind. Just as you're beginning to suspect the stairs will never end, you are faced by another stone door larger than the first and engraved with sigils. There are 3 locks, each deeply scorched. One by one, you touch the locks with the captured fires of the Logoi. The door groans. A few sigils flare. And it opens. The spark flares for a moment on the door of the vault, and then it is gone. As you walk into the antechamber, you hear the tolling of a distant bell. The ceiling erupts into flame, and a wall of horizontal fire descends upon you with unstoppable finality. And so we raise our minute to midnight, a shard of killing time, owned until it can puncture the defenses of suns. Honed, really. The wall of fire freezes. The fire simply stops moving, each glowing tongue as static as if it had been carved from stone. It is still hot enough at this distance to raise blisters across your flesh, however. You sheath the minute to midnight and walk further into the vault, probably sort of stooped over, crouched down. The vault is truly vast, larger than any cathedral you've seen. Every inch is stacked with glittering treasures and dusty relics. There, says the queen. In pride of the place at the vault's center is the Martyr King's cup. It is not a mere cup, of course. It is a whirling, spitting, shimmering vortex, flashing with lightning and fire, as wide and deep as a well. How can you possibly take this back to the engine? Yeah. You can't steal the cup, says the unseen queen. But that's why you brought me, isn't it? There are other treasures, and we could steal them. But do we need to? What would be the value of them at this point? No, Sister Patel is single-minded. We have a single purpose here. This is what we're here for. You can't steal the cup, says the unseen queen, but that's why you brought me, isn't it? Is it? The cup floats before you, suspended within a beam of moonlight. It is a simple stone goblet, far smaller and humbler than expected. The unseen queen places her hand on your shoulder. Take it, my knight, she whispers in your ear. You earned it. The cup seems to float between your fingers. You turn, kneel, and hand it reverently to your queen. The portrait has changed. The portrait of the unseen queen now holds a stone goblet in one hand. That is concerning. You're slipping further and further into a world that no longer exists, which apparently allows you to... So far, it has been the case that the things we see when we're having our visions and the things that are real roughly correspond physically, right? The cloak was a piece of cloth. The path to it, made sense. But here, we had a vision and it allowed us to do a thing that was physically impossible, because it was a thing that was totally possible in the vision. That's concerning. I'm starting to worry that maybe we're not going to end up immortal, but merely mad at the end of this. The moonlight fades, and you find yourself back in the vault. The swirling pit at the vault's center has vanished, and when you examine the portrait of the unseen queen, you realize she is now holding a stone cup in her hands. Her face is mostly scratched out still, but you think you can perceive a smile. Before you can question her, a distant bell begins tolling rather urgently. Symbols on the wall crackle and flare. Logoi tear themselves furiously from the correspondence and into life, crackling and burning with newborn intensity. You flee back upstairs, flames lashing at your heels, but the Logoi are enraged and far faster than you. You stumble and curl into a ball, expecting them to burn you into a few drifting cinders, but they pass overhead without giving you so much as a blister. I've bewildered them with visions, says the unseen queen, but their minds aren't as malleable as humans. We don't have much time. Go. You flee safely to the surface, and return to your engine with the queen's portrait under your arm. Yeah, I sort of forgot that she could do that, even though I was just talking about how that... Okay, never mind. Never mind, she's actually helping. We need to leave. We're gonna leave. Now is when we're gonna leave. Actually, sorry, now is when we're gonna end the episode, I guess. I just realized what time it is. That is gonna be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. We're doing it. We're, really on the edge of having done it. Come back next time to see exactly what that means. And we'll see you then.